They once said, if you want to connect, you must let them reflect. There are 3 things to aim at in public speaking. First, get into your subject. Then, get your subject into yourself. And lastly, to get your subject into the heart of your audience.
Hello, everyone. They also said, the only reason to give a speech is to change the world. Words have incredible power. They can make people's hearts soar, or they can make people's hearts soar. It is with great pleasure to welcome you
to Liwa's second public speaking competition. We will start our competition with the national anthem. Now, let's watch this video.
I really do miss going back to school.
Oh, me too.
Ladies and gentlemen, the public speaking competition is a great opportunity for Al Ain students to shine and show their speaking talent in delivering effective and coherent speeches. The themes of our high school competition are: how do I envision myself and my country 50 years from now? Global citizenship and culture of peace and nonviolence, near-death experiences, survival of the fittest, a new subject that should be taught in high school.
This year, we have 16 teams from high school. Today, those students will share with us their creative and innovative presentations about the themes. They will deliver their speeches in amazing ways that reflect how passionate they are. Now, I would like to introduce the jury. Dr. Richa, Senior Instructor of English, Department of Languages, College of Arts and Sciences, Abu Dhabi University. Mr. Shannon Glasgow, Senior Instructor of English, Al Ain Campus Coordinator, College of Arts and Sciences, Abu Dhabi University. Mrs. Noura Al-Rashidi, Programs Development Director of EDIC Schools. Dear judges, words can't express how our deep gratitude to you for accepting our invitation. Sacrificing your valuable time to be with us means a lot.
Before we start, I would like to express my deep gratitude to Mr. Lari and our SLT members for giving us such an opportunity. Also, I would like to thank teachers and students for their efforts.
Now, I will read the competition rules. Each team will have 5 to 6 minutes. The team has to prepare a presentation. One of the team members will be in charge of moving the slides of the presentation. Students should have a strong internet connection. Cameras are on, and the student's face is clearly shown. Students are not allowed to read their part from a ready script. There will be 3 winners, the 3rd place, the 2nd place, and the 1st place. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. Khayal, our school deputy. She wants to welcome you all to the competition.
Thank you very much, our presenters for today. Welcome to the 2nd annual gathering of the Inter-School Public Speaking Competition. It is great to see so many enthusiastic students here today, gathering to disseminate meaning, messages, and insights. Last time we held this competition, we were part of a carefree environment, totally oblivious of what awaited us back then in terms of COVID and the rigid breakdown. However, today marks an extraordinary occasion that fleshes out one important message, which is, with the diligence and the motivation of our students, we can conquer any barrier, and we can definitely actualize opportunities for fruitful and constructive competitions. When the Holy Quran once depicted the expression of powerful words as a tree deeply rooted in the ground and branching out into the sky, and when Prophet Muhammad also embodied the word of powerful expression as a word or an action of charity, they actually fleshed out in an extraordinary way that words can be very impactful. Similarly, philosophers and wise men also said that words can change paths. They can alter the course of destiny. And for this reason, today, we want to kind of instigate the powerful messages that words can disseminate and can make a change today and tomorrow. Before we start our program, I would like to acknowledge the effortless diligence that was exerted by our teams, by our middle leaders, by our teachers, by students, by their presenters, and everyone who organized this event, whether in LISF or the other schools. So thank you very much for marking this occasion and making it a reality, and welcome to the day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Khair.
You're most welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Moses Shamsi and I'm student council member and member of the innovation team.
And my name is Sharina Dalmaki, a member of the innovation team, and we are so proud to announce the beginning of the competition. First, we have this friendly contribution from our student, Salma Al-Shamsi, grade 9. She has written her own story about a near-death experience and wanted to share it with us.
Salma, will you please raise your hand so Mr. Hafiz can make you as a co-host? So, dear judges, Salma is not participating in the competition. It's just a friendly contribution. She wanted to share with us her great work, actually. Salma, you can start, yes.
Hello everyone, my name is Salam Shamsi from Leo International School, and today I have written a short story describing a mentally ill girl who was about to be killed by none other than her sister, and was rescued by another patient who asked her to kill her own life. This story is 100% my work. I wasn't inspired to rewrite another story I have read. I feel darkness surrounding you, my friend. Can you hear it? The screams within these walls. Screams of people who suffered an unfaithful life. Must I part you from that, my dearest friend? Would you do that? Risk your life for mine? Who would I be if I didn't? Said my friend. No, said I with no shade of hope in my voice. I must stay here. This is where I belong. I'm mental. Don't say that, my friend. You are fine just the way you are. On this ride, we are experiencing a conversation by the victim and her friend, as she claims. But she fooled me, tricked me into thinking that she was who I thought she was, a friend. Ages went by with me fooled under her diseased, dark, mischief magic. It was like I was casted under one of her spells. A nurse came and gave me a letter. I got suspicious because we weren't allowed to receive any letters. In that letter, written in red, at midnight, meet me by the water fountain where your destiny shall be decided. I was frightened to death about what was going to happen to me. I suddenly felt it, the darkness and the screams. It felt like ghosts were passing through me. I cried and cried all night long until it was time. The victim clearly feels threatened and scared about what was going to happen to her because her only friend turns on her and tries to kill her. I went to the water fountain and saw her. I saw evil in her eyes, ready to kill me. She had a knife up my throat and said, "You thought you were getting rid of me, sister." My life flashed before my eyes could wink, until I heard a voice humming a song. My sister dropped her knife and ran as fast as she could. A patient there, who stayed with me at the sanitarium, came and held my hand, and we went to the rooftop. She was ready to jump until she asked me if I wanted to join her. I couldn't give her an answer because it all was just a dream. This is the end of my story. You probably felt that her sister was eager to kill her, but why? Did she have a motive? Why would that patient take that specific girl to take her own life? Was it all a coincidence? Tell me your theory. Why do you think that that girl was targeted? Thank you all sincerely for listening to my presentation. This was Salama Shamsi from Lewis School with you.
Thank you, Salama.
Thank you, Salama. The first team to start is Al Isra Private School. Please, you have 2 minutes to get ready.
Who's going to share her screen or his screen?
Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Hi, Ms. Khaloud.
I am Ms. Khulud. Thank you very much for all of you. Thank you very much for your cooperation with us. We are so happy today because we are joining this meeting with you. Okay. Now our daughter girls will begin with you. I think Rayan will share. Okay.
Okay. Will please Rayan raise his hand?
Rayan, where are you? Rayan, quickly, please.
Okay, let me clarify one thing, which is very important. Each team,
Yes, okay.
we had this till Rayan gets ready. Yesterday we had, it's like a kind of misclarification. Each
Yes.
team will have up to 6 minutes, from 5
Yes,
to 6
okay.
minutes maximum.
Okay.
When the team exceeds the time, I have to stop the team.
Okay.
And because you know of the time limitation.
Okay.
So for everyone, take this into consideration.
We have 2 minutes to prepare, okay?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, wait a minute. Okay. If Rayan is not ready, okay, can okay, yes.
When they start talking, I will set the timer.
Okay, yes, wait a minute.
Peace be upon you. Our topic for today talks about experience close to death. Inevitably, death is something that we must face with life and is a beautiful thing, and we all go to it. Danger surrounds us from all regions. Danger is defined as a possibility that something harmful will happen, or a person or a thing that causes harm. When you are alone at bedtime, this is an example for a time you are in danger. Like a drunk driver is an example for a danger.
Ms. Khulud, we can't hear your student.
Okay, I don't know what's the problem with them. Yes.
It happens, no problem.
Okay, never mind.
Maybe unstable connection or something.
Do you hear me? There is Rayan.
Teacher, I think Rayan, she's muted. Rayan,
Rayan, she is talking, but I think she is muted her mic. Rayan. She is talking.
Hello, teacher. Can you hear me?
Okay, I am hearing you. Okay, but Rayan, I think that she has a problem. Okay, Rayan, yes, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, okay, you can say.
According to the World Health Organization, the top global causes of death in order of total numbers of lives lost are associated with three broad topics: cardiovascular, respiratory, and neonatal conditions. Neonatal sepsis and infection and preterm birth complications. Here is showing you the leading causes of death globally.
Okay, Rayan, thank you very much. We can move now. Okay, thank you, Rayan. We can move now to Tasneem. Tasneem, where are you? Do you hear me or not?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, yes, you can begin, please.
Okay, teacher.
Yes.
Now, after understanding and knowing the meaning of near-death experience and the risk, we should know how to protect ourselves from risk. But before that, I prefer to talk about types of risk causes, or what we call it the hazard. First type is natural disaster. It's a disaster caused by the natural process of the earth, like a floods, earthquake, storms, and landslides. The second type is man-made disaster. It's a disaster caused in some way by human activities like conflict, traffic accident, and explosions. Now, how could I protect myself from risk? As I said, a natural disaster caused by the process of the earth. So it's something uncontrollable. It's out of your control. It happens suddenly and in any time. But listening every day to the weather forecast will help you a lot. Number two, stay in a safe place while and after the disaster to prevent the hazard that happens after every disaster. Don't approach the area of the disaster or any place that has or include sharp tools like the kitchen. And the last thing is you should call the emergency service or the civil defense. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, Rahaf, where are you?
Here, teacher.
Yes.
Yes, hello everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about a few things that could help you survive in case you face any dangerous situations in the wild. So, these things are called survival kits. And what are they exactly? Survival kits are a bunch of tools that could help you survive, as I said, in grave situations. They come in a variety of sizes and shapes, but all you need is a small sized one in order to carry it anywhere you want. So, there are a lot of things that a survival kit could have, but I will only mention a few important ones. So, Ryan, can you please move to the next slide, please? The next one. Yes, thank you. So the contents of a survival kit, the most important one is a water bottle. The human body cannot survive without water, so it's really needed. The second one is food, and I personally prefer canned food, so that you can have it. Anywhere you want, and it's also canned and it can last longer. So third of all is a flashlight. It helps you see at nights if you're in the woods or anywhere you are. So fourth of all is medication. Medication is really important because when you're out there you could easily injure yourself, so it can help you like heal it real quick. There are a lot of other stuff out there, but the last one I'm going to mention is the map. It's really important because you should know your location in the world. So yeah, that's it for our presentation. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much for all of you. Thank you, my great daughter. Thank you for us.
Welcome, teacher.
Thank you for your okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your presentation. Next, we have the Future International School. Please get ready in 2 minutes.
Good morning, everyone. This is Ms. Marwa. Okay, good morning. Get ready, please.
Who's gonna show the screen? Who's gonna share the screen so we have we can make him the co-host?
Zainab.
Zaid,
Yes,
Zaid,
I will
can
be
you raise your hand? Zainab, sorry. Can you raise your hand, Zainab?
Sure.
Yes, she is now.
Zainab, can you share the presentation, please? And unmute yourselves, girls.
I raised my hand, but I still didn't receive presenter.
Zainab, yes.
Okay.
All right.
Are you ready, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, rocket, all the best.
All right. I'm going to start now. Good morning, everyone. We are Future International Academy. I am Zainab, and today I am joined with Sabine, Najma, and Jumana from 11G. And today we are going to discuss how do I envision myself and my country in 50 years. Starting off with Sabine.
Thank you, Zainab. For today's topic, we're going to be discussing the following. We'll start off with an interview with His Highness Sheikh Mohammed. Then we'll move on to the significance of history in the United Arab Emirates. After that, we'll go through a timeline of the UAE. Then the youth generation for the future, and last but not least, the UAE's future vision and plans.
Zainab and Jumana dream that they unexpectedly travel to the past using the time machine. all they see around them is desert, along with tents and camels.
Oh God, where are we? This doesn't feel right. Why are we here?
Zainab and Jumana realized they had met His Highness Sheikh Mohammed right before he entered the meeting of the UAE Union. So they asked him a question about his vision of the UAE.
Your Highness, what do you see in the horizon that we don't?
I dream that will we have roads? Will we have ministries? Will we see our flag in the United Nations? Would they even want to be united as one?
I promise you, this is just the beginning and we're going forward. The word impossible is not in our dictionary. Through dedication, determination, innovation, and education, our country will have a bright future.
Thanks to exceptional leaders and caring citizens, the United Arab Emirates has achieved unbelievable marvels to the point where our visions and dreams have reached outer space. The Hope spacecraft was launched in 2020 and arrived at Mars in 2021.
Now, the achievements that have been accomplished by UAE in the present years were part of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed's vision for the last 50 years. In that case, how do we envision ourselves, our country, years from now? Where will our vision lead us in the future? His Highness Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan once said that he who doesn't know his past cannot make the best of his present and future, for it is from the past we learn. This quote illustrates the idea that history gives us the opportunity to learn from our past mistakes, which helps us determine how to approach the future. Our past can inspire the youth into development and aid them to learn a great understanding towards the identity of our country. The unique history of the UAE helps us paint a vivid picture of where we stand today.
The father of the nation, the late His Highness Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, founded the United Arab Emirates in 1971, and that marked the start of a legendary journey.
Designed by Adrian Smith, Burj Khalifa is an architectural piece. To this day, it is the tallest building in the world.
The Emirates Mars mission Hope probe has successfully launched and provided a complete picture of Mars arrived there at 2021 that every Emirati, Arab, and Muslim should be proud of.
2071 Centennial Plan. The plan that was lectured by Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed aims at investing in the future generations by preparing them with skills and the knowledge needed to face challenges to make the UAE the best country by the next centennial in 2071.
To guarantee that the world's largest generation of kids can strongly participate in their communities in the future, the world must invest in them now. At the age of 22, Her Excellency Shams Al-Mazrouei was named as the Minister of State for Youth Affairs, and in 2020 she was appointed as the UAE Minister for State Youth, making her the world's youngest government minister. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan are positive about how the future generations will shape the United Arab Emirates in its upcoming decades.
There's no doubt that the UAE has a vision, not just 50 years from now, but 50 years from now. As the Abu Dhabi vision to no longer rely on oil for economy, or even our world-class healthcare that has been designed for years now.
As His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid once said, human beings, their ideas, innovations, dreams, and connections are the capital of the future. Because where great minds go today, great things will happen tomorrow. And now it's your turn. How do you envision yourself and the UAE in 50 years? And that brings us to the end of our speech. Thank you for your time and have a great day ahead.
Thank you so much.
And now let's move.
Yes, Moza, go ahead.
And now let's move to our 13th, Al Ain American Private School. And you have 2 minutes to prepare yourself, please.
Okay, thank you so much. Please, when one team is presenting, the rest, please keep yourself muted. This affects the presentation of other schools. So please, when somebody is presenting, keep yourself muted. Thank you so much. So the one who's gonna share his or her screen, please raise your hand. I think it's Ahmed Sultan, right? Yes.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Ahmed Sultan and today I and my group will be presenting our speech on global citizenship and a culture of peace and non-violence. Our group members are me, Khalid Nasir, Muhammad Hamdi, Umar Hussam and our teacher Miss Yasmi. I hope you will enjoy our speech. Thank you. Global citizenship stands for an idea that someone's identity isn't just kept by geological boundaries or laws, but instead it is kept global. With this comes the factor of having all human rights divided equally without any distinction. This can cause peace to increase and violence over race problems to vanish. Now, I will be passing the presentation over to my friend, Mr. Muhammad Hamdi.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Muhammad Hamdi and I will now present to you important factors in order to make a culture of peace and non-violence. So first of all, globally, youth must be empowered to be resilient to violence and to become citizens of the world. Human rights violations, conflicts between countries have to be combated. The next point is communities, families and individuals all have a critical role to play in defeating violence and creating a culture of peace. And last but not least, training and investigation and sustainable development are among the properties as well as number 1, human rights education, and number 2, skills for peaceful connections, number 3, good authorities, and number 4, prevention of disputes and violence. And now I'm leaving you with Umar Hussam.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Umar Hussam, and I'll be talking about important fields to focus on. I'll begin with some examples of global citizenship. We'll begin with challenge ignorance and intolerance, then take learning into the real world. Afterwards, get involved in their local, national, and global communities. Finally, develop an argument and voice their opinions. These are some examples of global citizenship. There are 3 categories of global citizenship. The first one is moral. Moral is about concern with or relating to what is right and wrong in human behavior, moral problems, moral judgment. The second thing is economic. Economic is a social science concerned with the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. Last but not the least is cultural types of citizenship. Cultural citizenship is defined as cultural practices and beliefs produced out of negotiating the often ambivalent and contested relationships.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah everyone. My name is Khalid Nasser al-Maqbali, and I will be talking about peace and global citizenship. Now, what is global citizenship and how can it lead to peace? Global citizenship is the idea that one's identity transcends geography and political boundaries. It states that rights and responsibilities are delivered according to borderline humanity. While the concept of global citizenship is not a new one, it is becoming ever more important in our expanding and increasingly interconnected world. It helps a person find their place in society because they have a greater understanding of the people around them. Having people understand each other will lead in less cases of racism and genocide, leading to peace and equality. Now, what are the ways people can be connected through global citizenship? What can global citizenship do to help us stay connected? First of all, universal language. Having a language we can all talk is a great start for global citizenship, as it allows us to be connected and sustaining traditions throughout the world. Having people take pride in their own traditions while learning about other people's is a great way to learn about each other. It helps you gain respect for those around you. Most importantly, we have to have respect and diversity, as having respect for people around you, no matter their background, is something that should be cemented into the mind of our youth, as it will help them have a brighter, more peaceful future. This was Ain American School. We thank you for having us, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for your presentation. Moving on, we will have the International Private School. You have 2 minutes to get ready.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are the International Private School participant team. We have the honor to take part in Liwa School Speaking Contest. Firstly, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Arij, your host, grade 10. We're gonna talk about a subject that we think it should be taught in high schools. It is astronautics. We will begin by explaining what this subject is. Next, Rawan will show the reasons why astronautics should be taught in high schools. After that, Khadija will discuss the pros and cons of including astronautics in the curriculum of high schools. Finally, Sadil will show the challenges that might face adding astronautics to school subjects. Well, I'm Arij. I will explain what astronautics means. Astronautics is the science that deals with spacecraft and travel in outer space, to the moon and to other planets such as Mars. It deals with machinery designed to beyond Earth's atmosphere. Astronautics works by applying scientific principles as well as techniques to aviation technology. It isn't uncommon for individuals to confuse astronautics with aeronautics, although both deal with flight. Astronautics has more to do with space vehicles, and aeronautics has more to do with aircrafts. Astronautics involves studying, understanding, and even creating space instruments, space sensors, and various other space technology devices. Now, Rowan will list the reasons why astronautics should be taught in high schools.
I'm Rowan, and today I'm going to be talking about the reason why we think that astronautics should be taught in high school. Well, first of all, since I would like to congratulate our beloved country and ourselves for the great success of the UAE Hubble mission to Mars. Actually, we have several reasons to think that the need to add astronautics to high school is urgent. The first reason is that since the UAE has joined the race to space, the young generation should be well prepared to participate in the nation's striving to record more successful achievements in this field. Another reason why I believe that teaching astronautics is necessary is that it will provide a student with the basic knowledge that will support them to be professional in this fundamental field, especially if you know that astronautics is responsible for many accomplishments. For example, it is responsible for the development of satellites that help scientists learn more about the Earth and other planets. Astronautics is also important for national security reasons. In addition, it is also used for other civilian applications. For example, satellite communication, television broadcasting, and weather monitoring, and even global positioning and navigation system all depends on astronautics. Finally, due to the constant evolving of the science, it is essential to start studying it to keep pace with the dramatic advancements that has dramatic technological impacts in the world. Moving forward, Khadija will look at some of the pros and cons of adding astronautics to high school curriculum.
After looking at the reasons why astronautics should be taught in high school, it is obvious that it will have a positive impact on the country's workforce, as it will help prepare skilled people to work in many critical positions, such as space flight, defense, communication, and much more. Moreover, this will help prepare skilled people to work in many critical positions, such as space flight, defense, communication, and much more. Moreover, this will open the door for new job opportunities, which will support the national economy. However, there are few cons for adding astronautics to the school subject. Firstly, it is not easy to study the subject as it needs high mathematical, scientific, and creativity skills. I think some students will struggle to understand it. Another disadvantage is the failure of the subject due to the inability of expanding the scientific scope in the Arab world, as well as the failure of providing the necessary environment and universities dedicated into this field, which will lead to neglect it.
Of course, there will be some possible challenges to include astronautics in the subjects taught in high school. I am Sedil, and I'll talk about these obstacles. To begin with, there is the financial obstacle. We think that present schools are not prepared to teach astronautics. Consequently, a large budget should be allocated to provide schools with high standard of technological equipment, as well as skilled technicians. Besides, the need to provide well-qualified instructors to teach this new subject is another challenge. There will be a large shortage of the well-qualified teachers in this field. Finally, we think that hard efforts should be done to convince the young generation, especially females, to join this field.
We are sure that the UAE government will overcome these challenges because education is a priority in the country's policy. Thank you for your kind attention, and we hope you enjoyed.
Thank you. And now we will have Abu Dhabi Island International Private School. Get ready in 2 minutes, please.
Hi, excuse me. Could you please re-invite me into the meeting? I want to join from my phone so I can open the camera.
What is it you student? Is it, which one? Abu Dhabi, yes. Jana or which one? Jana? Okay.
Yes.
She was admitted.
Okay, thank you.
تبدأ الكاميرا عملية.
Good morning, ladies Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and all hardworking students.
I am Jana Suhail from Abu Dhabi Island International Private School, and I'll be explaining global citizenship with my two classmates, Sheikh Ahmed Hassan. So what is global citizenship? Now, I guess from the name, you can kind of guess what it is because, global as it's something generalized around the world, and citizenship, which is being a citizen. So from the name itself, you can tell that global citizenship is being a citizen around the whole world. Now, you may tell me, but doesn't that sound impossible? Like, how am I supposed to have the ID of 200 plus countries? That is almost impossible. But no, global citizenship is actually about peace, about accepting other cultures, about anti-racism, because it is a dynamic system of interconnections and interdependency. Now, I guess you can tell also why it's so important, because we need to stop the racism and we need to stop pushing away other cultures or mocking other cultures, because cultures are an amazing thing. Each country has its own unique culture, which is honestly fun to read about and to know more about. And now, moving on to benefits of global citizenship.
Next slide, please. Well, most things on Earth seem to have positive and negative aspects. Global citizenship seems to be an exception with literally almost no drawbacks. One of the major benefits of global citizenship must be deteriorating the concept of okay, sorry for that. Deteriorating the concept of discrimination, intolerance, ignorance around the world. And this paves the path to make you a better human on Earth. And secondly, we must also recognize that global citizenship develops our knowledge on current events happening all around the world.
People away from Mr. Hafiz.
And if we have a better understanding to current events happening, we'll be able to adjust to new cultures and new places we go all around the globe. And now moving on to the next part with Jenna.
So, applications of global citizenship. As I mentioned in the introduction, I know it sounds like something impossible to achieve. Everyone is so locked in their own culture. Some people even take it into marrying their own family simply because they want to lock themselves in, which is why, how can we get rid of that mindset? How can we applicate global citizenship? Now, my personal favorite example would be Japan. Do you know that Japan's crime rate is 8.4%, with only 749,000 cases in a year, not like throughout like 1 month or 1 week. And they do that because although Japan is locked in, as you know, and it's almost impossible to get a Japan citizenship, yet they still somewhat achieved global citizenship by having something called the Hashotsujo, or by its famous nickname, the Koban. It is basically like, people like to describe it as a box, but it's not literally a box. It's just this small building that has, instead of policemen or like security guards, it has people who will help you. So assuming that you are getting harassed, assaulted, or maybe you need help finding directions, instead of just calling 911 or whatever, you just find any Koban around the place. There's like at least 5 Kobans in each area. Like per area, there's about like 5 to 10 Kobans. You go into one of them and you ask for their help. Now, you might tell me, well, how is this related to global citizenship? It is related because this is somewhat, it ends racism if you think about it. So if there was like a black man in America, for example, who went to ask a policeman for directions, unfortunately, he would get shot. So in Japan, this whole idea of racism and multicultural gets canceled when we mention this whole Koban idea. You may have seen them in Detective Conan. Detective Conan is like filled with them. Okay, and also there's also Iceland. Their police has no guns. They carry no weapons around the street, which makes kids feel safe around them. Because as a kid, you see a gun and you just run away because you're a kid. So when they don't have weapons, kids actually feel comfortable with them. If you put Iceland police on Google, you can see how many kids take photos with them. The kids feel comfortable asking them to like tie their shoes, telling them a joke, and so on. And there's also Sweden, which also has no army, something that is pretty famous actually. And last but not least, there's Uganda, which unfortunately a whole genocide happened against it. And because of their genocide, they learned from their trauma, and they now allow all cultures and all religions, since the genocide was related to, religions. So after that, they started allowing all cultures. They are now a peace, cultural, loving country. And now moving on to the psychological effects of global citizenship.
I just want to draw your attention that you have exceeded the time. Do you still need a lot of time, or?
Yes, we need.
Can you just wrap it up, please?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Let us talk about using reverse psychology in global citizenship. So what is it exactly? It's a psychological technique that makes people do something without them being aware of it. We will discuss an example. It's okay if you are busy. You don't have to come to the event. A boy says to his parents, but secretly the boy is trying to convince his parents to come, but he is not asking them directly. The same idea applies to our topic. Police officers always have an image of faithlessness, authority, and little tolerance. So people can get encouraged to commit crimes, to challenge authority, so they can commit crimes on purpose, hurt each other, and only think about themselves. So police officers can use reverse psychology and be present but distant at the same time. So they basically can allow people to act responsibly by respecting each other and being responsible about their own actions. That kind of society provides safety for foreigners, making them aware of the impact people have on their everyday life. It becomes a big part in having the openness that global citizenship needs to thrive. And now let's move on to the future with global citizenship with Aya. Aya, you are muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. A world without global citizenship will be harsh for our children to live in. This sentence hurt you, didn't it? Well, unfortunately, this will be our sad reality if we don't take action as soon as possible. One of the major things that will happen in the future if we promote global citizenship and we all become global citizens is that we won't have any wars. There will be technological breakthroughs across the globe, and all racism, discrimination, ignorance, and all of those bad concepts will be deteriorated, and our planet will be more sustainable and waste-free. Now jumping on to conclusions, me and my friends stand with global citizenship, and we all must open our minds onto the concept of global citizenship because it has great advantages for both us, our countries, and the economy too. After a long trip, we have finally reached the end of our presentation. We are extremely honored to have that opportunity of participating in this speaking contest. We also would like to thank our teacher, Mr. Hakim, for being here for us. Thank you everyone for listening, and have a blessed day and stay safe.
Miss Amal, can I tell you something?
Yes.
Teacher, we only took 3 minutes to finish our presentation. How did we took more time? Because I calculated the time, it's only 3 minutes, and you said
5 to 6 minutes.
Yes, but I had my timer, my dear.
I really don't know, but like I calculated and it's 3 minutes.
Trust me,
Okay,
like when you
teacher,
start
as you
talking,
wish.
yes, when you start talking, I start the timer. But you did a great job, ladies. Thank you so much. You were amazing.
Thank you so much. We appreciate.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Our sixth team is from the United School of Al Yahar. Please get ready in 2 minutes.
Okay, I just would like to get me the host, please, Mr. Ahmed. I'm gonna be the presenter.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rahat from United Private School. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for being here, and special thanks to my colleagues, Mariam, Isra, and Malak. Our topic talks about the importance of mental health. First, before anything, what is mental health? Should it be taught in schools? Should we raise awareness for this matter? Mental health basically describes the well-being of a person and their potential of doing certain activity based on their emotional, psychological, and emotional well-being. I believe that our mental health shouldn't be neglected from childhood through adulthood and should be taken seriously. Moreover, many conditions could potentially result in a period of poor or healthy mental health, such as lifestyle conditions and family history of mental disorders that are passed down through genes, as well as abuse. In contrast, mental illnesses are conditions that affect a person's thinking and feelings, such as depression, anxiety, bipolar disorders. These conditions tend to be acute or chronic and affect someone's mental capacity to relate to others and function every day. However, they can be treated if symptoms were recognized early by therapy and constant self-care, before symptoms aggravate with time. And now with the importance of mental health with Isra.
Thank you so much, Raghad. Mental and physical health are equally important components of overall health. Mental illness, especially depression, increases the risk for many types of physical health problems, particularly long-lasting conditions like stroke, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. Similarly, the presence of chronic conditions can increase the risk of mental illness. The importance of mental health. It helps in the development of desirable personality, in proper emotional, social, moral development, and also it helps in the prevention of mental illness. Mental health has a huge impact on every aspect of our lives, like self-image, education, relationships, and sleeping. Mental health and wellness helps people to realize their full potentials, cope with the stress of life, work productively, make meaningful contributions to their communities, improve students' grades and classroom behavior, in addition to connecting with others and staying positive. And now with why mental health should be in our curriculum with Malak.
Thank you, Isra. So do we really think that mental health is this important to be taught in school? In my opinion, yes. Mental health is that important and we should consider it as a new school subject. First of all, we need to work towards a school environment where students are able to recognize when they're dealing with mental health and are able to ask for help. And first of all, to know that mental health issues typically start at school age years. So it's better for students to know more about mental health during this young age, since it will be beneficial for them as they grow up. Communities, countries, and even schools work towards citizenship, and being able to deal with mental health issue will help us to grant this aim to have citizenship and even efficiency in our communities, leading to raising positivity. So basically in schools, conflicts, bullying, and even friendships start. And it's where students start to understand and learn more about behavior towards certain situations, especially ones that deal with mental health issue. Thank you so much. And now it's time to know more about mental health school awareness with my teammate, Mariam.
Thank you, Malak. Regarding to your points, I would like to add some evidence that is written by Nancy Barrell in her article, such as drastic changes, homework, training in mental health, and social workers. On the importance of mental health awareness in schools, she relates how she noticed some drastic changes in one of her students over a short period of time. The student no longer did her homework, although she had previously been meticulous about her appearance. She was withdrawn and distant when Barrell tried to speak to her. Barrell had some training in mental health issues and recognized that the student was in trouble. Millions of people globally are affected by mental illness. In America, an estimated 1 in 5 adults experiences mental illness in a given year, according to the National Alliance on Mental Health. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that 1 in 5 children in the US currently have, or at some stage have had, a debilitating mental illness. 50% of mental illness begins by the age of 14, according to the American Psychiatric Association. Thank you.
At the end, I really wish to involve mental health as a subject in our high schools in order to increase our social communication. Thank you so much for having us today. It was such a pleasure being with you, and we hope the best for everyone.
Thank you so much. Next, we will be having the Learning Place International through SRK training. Get ready in 2 minutes, please.
I just want to double check with our judges. Are you fine with the pace? Do you need like extra time to jot down thoughts or something?
It is good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Salam alaikum, good morning. My name is Constantia Luis from SRK TLP. And as the saying goes, school prepares students for life. And the current US system teaches many life-critical skills like reading, writing, and arithmetic. But it appears the standard course curriculum has shifted its focus from life to something more in line with the college course in algebra or romanticism. Don't get us wrong, the quadratic equation is intellectually engaging, and Keats' poetry is as haunting as it is beautiful. But contemporary teachers are often forced to teach students how to take tests, but fail to instill drive nor social skill. We need a new curriculum, one that improves our students' lives as well as their minds. These 7 subjects don't teach towards the test, but they will help students lead happier, healthier, and smarter lives. First is financial literacy. A survey done by the FINRA found that only 34% of US adults could answer 4 of 5 questions on basic financial literacy correctly. We need knowledgeable teachers to teach students how to budget, plan for retirement, and force financial documents. Before getting into college, students should know how to find their credit score, the difference between a variable and fixed interest rate, and why finding only the minimum on your credit card bill is just a bad idea. The next topic on employment and networking will be discussed by Dean.
Employment and networking, a subject to develop job finding and networking skills among students to avoid leading them into the job hunt blindly. 75% of resumes never reach human eyes, and those that do may be invalidated if our students are not taught to be cautious of what they post on social media, which could potentially be seen by their future hiring managers. In addition to this, religion is another subject that should be mandatory in schools, and how its interpretations have evolved over the centuries. Creationism should not be taught as a viable alternative to evolution, and meditation should be taught as a calming mental exercise, not a path to enlightenment. The next topic on mental health and behavioral sciences will be discussed by JV Abelia.
People need to make decisions in regards to their mental health. And if that person is unprepared, that decision may compromise their future. You see, the implementation of mental health classes would focus on developing mental well-being skills. Students would learn about the methods of self-reflection, emotional assessment, and the practice of techniques for effectively dealing with intense emotions. For example, the introduction of meditation has physical and mental benefits. Meditation would help students cope with anxiety and other mental health disorders. In the process, it increases a person's self-esteem and self-awareness. Moreover, we must also prepare students to understand their minds better. Behavioral science can help students understand what motivates them, what affects their decision-making, and how to adjust habits for a better lifestyle. They can use the knowledge they have attained to find their suitable learning environment. Overall, mental health is as significant as our grades, and adding mind welfare subjects would definitely increase a student's performance and behavioral points. The next 2 subjects would be discussed by Angeline Benavides.
Architecture can help students develop many academic and life lessons needed in the real world. At its heart, architecture is about problem solving. Students are given a problem and materials, and they must use their creativity to solve each problem, leading to many valid interpretations. Another subject that would aid students for future careers is video game design. Video game design not only stimulates a child's artistic creativity, but also fosters hard skills and soft skills that will be highly appraised in the upcoming decades. Restating what Jeffrey J. Salingo writes for Harvard Business Review, nowadays there is interference to what deems a student to be ready for a workplace. Thus, these 7 subjects that we discussed aren't meant to replace traditional subjects, but rather update the educational system to the 21st century standard. Above all, we should still focus on how we could still be that human as we are that needs collaboration and help from each and every one. We close our presentation with this video. Thank you for listening to our team, ladies and gentlemen. We are glad to accept questions offline.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Moving on, we have the First Lebanon School. You have 2 minutes to start presenting.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين. أنا محمد إبراهيم القاع من الصف الحادي عشر مدرسة لبنان الأولى. أقف هنا أنا وزملائي محمد محمود وحسن بلال تحت إشراف الأستاذ محمد علي. أود أن أستفتح عرضنا ببيت شعر للمتنبي. قال المتنبي: لكل داء دواء يستطب به، إلا الجهالة أعيت من يداويها. فكما أن لكل داء دواء، فلكل مشكلة حل، والتعليم هو حل الجهل ودواءه. ورأيت أنا وزملائي من هذا المنطلق أنه يجب أن تكون العملية التعليمية على أعلى مستوى وعلى أتم كفاءة. ورأينا أيضاً أن المشكلة التي يواجهها معظم الطلاب أثناء التعليم وبعد التخرج هي الاندماج في سوق العمل وترسيخ المعلومات. وأطلقنا على هذه المادة اسم التطبيقات العملية. أذهب إلى زميلي حسن كي يستمر في تقديم. تفضل حسن.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. في البداية وجدنا نحن الطلاب أن من أهم الأشياء التي تنقصنا في حياتنا الدراسية هي الافتقار إلى التطبيق. العملي، حيث أن كل ما ندرسه يقتصر على الدراسة النظرية، وهذا يؤدي إلى جعل العام الدراسي رتيباً، حيث أن كل الأيام تشبه بعضها، والفرق الوحيد هو التاريخ. كما أن الطالب يفقد حس الإبداع ويتحول إلى آلة تطبق، كما أن كثير من الطلاب ينسون ويفقدون ما يتعلمونه بعد نهاية العام الدراسي أو الفصل الدراسي، حتى وفي ما نقوله حل محتمل.
مثل أي مادة أخرى في البداية ستكون صعبة، لذا يجب أن نعطي فكرة عن كيفية تطبيق هذه المادة وكيف سيكون طريقة عملها، كيف سيتم تدريسها. في البداية قال سقراط أن التعليم هو إيقاد شعلة وليس ملء وعاء، وبرأيي هو صادق، فكل ما وصلنا إليه إلى الآن كان نتاج شعلة فضول، شعلة تساؤل، شعلة تفكير وإبداع. ومادة العلوم التطبيقية هذه ستكون فتيل الشعلة للطلاب. ففي نهاية كل أسبوع سيذهب الطلاب إلى مكان ما لا على التحديد، قد تكون مدرسة أخرى مثلا، للاستفادة من تجارب الغير وتبادل الأفكار. ويستفيد الطالب من هذه التجارب بحيث يمكن أن يطورها بأفكاره أو ممكن أن يقتبس منها ويضيف أفكاره لتكوين فكرة جديدة. وهذا أساس كل الاختراعات، فكل من سبقنا تعلم من الذي سبقه، ونحن نتعلم من الذي سبقنا. وفي نهاية السنة الدراسية يجب على كل طالب أن يجمع خبراته التي استفاد منها خلال العام ومعلوماته ويضعها في مشروع يبدي فيه ابتكاره وحبه للعلوم. وهذه المادة ستعلم الطالب أهم ما يجب أن يتعلمه، وهو كيف يطبق ما تعلمه. والآن سننتقل إلى فقرة النتائج أو الإيجابيات العائدة من هذه المادة مع زميلي محمد إبراهيم.
الآن بعد أن تعرفنا على المشكلة ووضعنا حلاً لها، دعونا نناقش أو نرى كيف سوف نستفيد كطلاب وكمجتمع بأسره. بداية، يستفيد الطالب أن مداركه سوف تتوسع وفكره سوف يعمل، لن يقتصر تعليمه على الحفظ أو التكرار. والإبداع هو طريق المستقبل، وهو ما يحتاجه الطالب فعلا، وهو ما نحتاجه حتى نصل إلى المستقبل. لا نريد أن نبقى مكاننا دون أن نتطور، والتطور والتقدم لن يأتي إلا مع الابتكار. إضافة إلى هذا، فإن الوقت والجهد سوف يتم توفيره، وهذه إيجابية للمجتمع بأكمله. فالطالب المتخرج بعد أن يتخرج لن يحتاج وقتا حتى يندمج في سوق العمل أو يتعرف على المجتمع الجديد الذي سوف يذهب إليه. كان بين طلاب، الآن سوف يكون بين عمال، بين زملاء، بعضهم قد يكون أكبر منه، قد يكون أكبر منه ب20 عام. هذه المادة سوف توفر الوقت والجهد حتى يندمج فيهما. أيضا عندما يدخل لسوق العمل الطالب سوف تزداد فعالية عمله، لأنه سوف يكون قد امتلك خبرات سابقة أثناء الأعوام الأكاديمية. إذن سوف يكون قد اكتسب الخبرة بالفعل. إضافة إلى هذا، الفعالية الثالثة، قبل ذهابه إلى سوق العمل وبعد تخرجه هناك فترة في المنتصف، الفترة الجامعية. الكثير من الطلاب يدخلون في حيرة من أمرهم، أي تخصص يدخل، إلى أين يذهب. وكثيرا ما نسمع عن حالات طلبة يدرسون عاما أو عامين في الجامعة ثم يغيرون تخصصهم. هذا وقت مهدور. نحن نريد استغلال طول كل ثانية، نريد استغلالها. والإيجابية الرابعة هي إيجابية المهارات الاجتماعية، العمل التعاون، المهارات الاجتماعية. هذه تفيد الإنسان كشخص على المستوى الاجتماعي في حياته العادية، حين يذهب أينما يرتحل، لن يحتاج لوقت طويل حتى يدخل في المجتمع، لأنه لديه الخبرة من عدة مجتمعات دخلها. فكل أسبوع هو يدخل إلى مهنة جديدة، يتعلم شيئا جديدا في مكان جديد، هكذا هو يندمج. الآن أود أن أشكركم باسمي وباسم إدارة مدرسة لبنان الأولى وأستاذي الفاضل أستاذ محمد أبو راشد، وباسم زملائي وصفنا. أشكركم على حسن استماعكم.
Thank you. Our 9th team will be from Leo International School Girls, and you have 2 minutes to get ready, please.
Aldana, if you could just raise your hand again, please. There we go.
Global Citizenship and a Culture of Peace and Nonviolence, presented by Elias G. High School Girls. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Aldana Rashid Shamsi. I'll be representing the grade 9 students from the International School for Girls. As a starter, a quote that had been stated by Emmett Ray saying that the more we practice nonviolence in our words, thoughts, and action, the more peaceful will our inner state be. People like to live in a country where humanity is respected regardless of religion, nationality, and ethnicity. One of major tasks of global citizenship, it nurtures personal respect and respect for others wherever they live. It encourages individuals to think deeply and critically about what is equitable. Just imagine living in a place without peace and with constant violence. That would be the end of humanity.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Adriana Stevens. I'm from the Liwa International School for Girls, and I'm in grade 11A. Global citizenship refers to the ways of thinking and living within multiple cross-cutting communities, cities, regions, and international collectives. People tend to consider themselves as global citizens based on their experience and the different interpretation of what it means to them. It is important to live in a country where peace and nonviolence is encouraged, especially countries where many foreigners or expats reside.
Hello everyone, my name is Sheikh Al-Tahri and I'm from grade 10A. To continue on, take a look at South Africa, for example. It is known as the Rainbow Nation, and that's because it has 11 official languages, thanks to the mix of different people and their cultures that are living across the country. Also, the United Arab Emirates has over 200 nationalities of people that are living there. Both of these countries practice cultural empathy, and that's because it has a large mix of different people and their cultures that reside there. Cultural empathy is something that's very important because it helps people see things from different perspectives and also helps navigate an individual's own cultural identities. However, not all countries over the world practice cultural empathy.
Hi everyone, my name is Moza Halil Jabri and I'm studying in Liwa International First School and I'm currently in grade 11A. In conclusion, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum said, tolerance is the basis for building societies and their interdependence and spreading the values of peace and coexistence in them. If everyone considers how they can create an impact on the creation of peace for the world and then acts on these ideas, many great changes can happen. Starting with the children of our world is one way to get closer to the goal of a culture of peace and nonviolence. Our children are the leaders for our future, and it is through them that we will create a culture of peace and nonviolence. We can teach them how to be kind with others, how to have nonviolent speech, nor thoughts, and way more. Thank you so much for listening, and I really hope you have a good day ahead.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Next, we will have Al Ain Juniors Indian. Please get ready in 2 minutes.
I'll be the one presenting.
A very good morning to everyone present. We are Karen Chako, Riyaji, Daniel Biju, and Sumya Subakatullah from Al Ain Junior School.
Our topic is, what new subject should be introduced in high schools? Now, when we take a look at the current curricula in schools, they seem to be pretty well-rounded, but are they really?
We as a team thought long and hard about it and found a fundamental flaw. Students of our time are more book smart than street smart. That is, what is missing from the teaching in schools is that of life skills.
Life skills.
The first time we hear it, it seems to be too vague and general of a subject to be taught in school. You might ask, what's the difference between a moral science class where we discuss about everything under the sun and a life skill class then?
Well, technically, life skills are a set of skills that everyone needs to function as an independent person who thrives in any given environment.
But not everything and anything can be taught in a life skills class. Let us look at some of the most important skills that are to be taught under this subject.
Critical thinking. Critical thinking is the intellectually disciplined process of conceptualizing information gathered as a guide to belief and action.
First aid. First aid involves quickly responding to accidents to ensure that injuries can be efficiently and promptly dealt with before a trained medical professional arrives.
Decision making is the process of making choices by identifying a decision, gathering information, and assessing alternative resolutions.
Problem solving. Problem solving is the act of defining, determining, prioritizing, and selecting alternatives for a solution.
Survival skills. Survival skills are techniques that a person may use in order to sustain life in any type of natural environment or built environment.
Communication. It is the act of developing meaning among entities or groups through the use of sufficiently mutually understood symbols, signs, or semiotic conventions.
Money management. By practicing proper money management techniques now, students can feel confident about their ability to manage finances into their adult life, save money, and avoid debt down the road.
In a constantly changing environment, having life skills is an essential part of being able to meet the challenges of everyday life and to deal with stress and frustration.
Today's students will have many new jobs over the course of their lives, with associated pressures and the need for flexibility.
In everyday life, the development of life skills benefits students individually during employment as well as society in general.
Finding new ways of thinking and problem solving, building confidence both in spoken skills and for group collaboration and cooperation.
Analyze options, make decisions, and understand why they make certain choices outside the classroom. Develop a greater sense of self-awareness and appreciation for others.
Time and people management, agility and adaptability to different roles and flexible working environments.
Respecting diversity allows creativity and imagination to flourish, developing a more tolerant society.
Well, now that we know what the importance is, you might be thinking, how can we implement life skills as a subject in schools? To show that we can implement life skills as a subject, we have some examples for you.
First one, this activity teaches money management. Realizing how expensive being an adult is and learning to budget are very important.
With this in mind, students can do an activity called the real world. This activity randomly assigns each student a career and a salary with which they can choose the facilities of their choice.
This activity will be an eye-opener for the students on what the real world would look like one day.
Secondly, something as simple as telling students to arrange their tables and chairs before leaving class can teach them about being orderly and disciplined.
Therefore, life skills as a subject will play a very important role in preparing our generation and future generations to face adulting, career choices, and personal life.
That was the end of our presentation. We would like to thank Liver International School for giving us the opportunity to present our thoughts on this topic. We would also like to share a sincere gratitude towards our teachers who supported us. We hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. And now, Al Ain Junior's British branch have 2 minutes to get ready, please.
Good morning, everyone.
People have still yet to switch on their cameras. Please give us a second. Okay. Yes. We can start now.
All right. Fellow students, teachers, and judges, good morning to you all. I'm Miss Matara, and I'm presenting today with Nirhan Ali, Lindsay Ignacio, and Noreen Munir, representing Aline Junior School British System. Women up until now are still having difficulty trying to survive in this society. Our topic for this presentation is near-death experiences, survival of the fittest, and we're going to tell the stories of women battling oppression. Trepidation, alone in a woman's eyes.
It was the dead of the night, and I walked carefully on the sidewalk, eyeing my surroundings. 1 step, 2 steps. Trudging my way down the stairs, it was another half an hour until I could reach my destination. As any normal person, I thought and thought about the randomest of things, like how my family was doing, what I'm eating for dinner today, what I should wear for work tomorrow. 3 steps, 4 steps. My eyes roamed my surroundings. The moon lit brightly, decorating the sky. The street lamps were scattered around, lighting up the pathway. The air blew on my face, caressing it softly. I closed my eyes and felt the breeze. The weather was beautiful today. 5 steps, 6 steps. I looked behind, a figure appearing in the darkness, and soon my whirl of thoughts had stopped. I fastened my pace, avoiding eye contact, panic filling my senses. Sweat, too much sweat. The figure sped up, at least it seemed so. The figure grew closer, at least it seemed so. The figure pounced on me, at least it seemed so. Everything stopped. The world had stopped. My mind had stopped. The only sound I am hearing is my rapid heartbeat. I looked behind. The figure was gone. Relief spread all over. I was free, and I continued my silent journey to the destination I seek.
Sold. My life was just bought.
Nai, are you coming home tomorrow? My son is still on the phone. Not tomorrow, Anak. Just remember to be good, okay? I told him. My son smiled with a thumbs up and ended the call with a goodbye. Hi, my name is Alicia Gonzalez, and I want to be a doctor. However, I'm not in the position to be thinking about that now. My top priority is to provide for my son, to make sure he's healthy and happy, to have his dream fulfilled, to make sure he doesn't end up like I did. Alicia, get down here and make food for Justin, Ma'am Stewart shouted from downstairs. It's been 3 years in the Stewart household. Back in my hometown, Kalugbit, I was just a normal teenager coming home from school till I was just grabbed. I want a pizza, and Justin, dear, you know you can't have that for lunch, I scolded him gently. Just then the boy burst into tears, and the Stewart couple entered the room from the sound of his cries. Mr. Stewart grabbed his whip nearby and threatened to hit me with it. Why did it have to come to this? How much are you willing to pay for her? I heard a voice whispering. I tried to move, but my hands seemed tied. I'll transfer the money to your account, just give me the girl. I screamed for help, but the man told me to shut up. My life was just bought. If only I knew you would be this much of a headache, I wouldn't have bought you in the first place, Mrs. Stewart shouted. Sorry, po, sir, I was just worried about Justin's health. You have no right to decide our son's meals. Miss Stewart's hand came in contact with my face at the force which knocked me to the ground. I'm used to this pain, but I'm tired of it. That's when I ran. I had to get out of here. I can't be treated this way anymore. I need to go. Thank you, doctor. She survived. All in a day's work. I need to make sure the patient didn't end up like my mother. I hope you're in a better place now, Nai.
Left in the dark, plain black.
Hafiz Mama, my Quran class Kunijaru, I said in Urdu. Bye mom, going out for the Quran class. That was when I ended the call with my mom. My parents were in Saudi to perform Umrah at the time. I hopped out of the door and was on my way to my tutor's house, which is just about 5 minutes away from our house. I was walking peacefully until I felt someone's touch on my head. He was patting on my head. Although I usually felt safe and happy when someone pat my head, this was different. I didn't like how this felt. I felt vulnerable, like I needed someone to get me out of there. My mind went blank. I had lost my ability to move. Before I could do anything, I found myself struggling to escape his car. I felt so uncomfortable. I counted seconds until I took in the fact that 1, 2, 3, I was not okay. Fear, anger, confusion, all these emotions suddenly struck me as I had comprehended the fact that I had just been assaulted. Suddenly, I couldn't feel my throat. My world was shattering. My whole life flashed before my eyes when all I could think of was mom and dad until everything was black. Plain black. Zainab Ansari, remember her name.
Women, men, children, humans. Everyone goes through various forms of oppression, and as a society, we should aim to stop the unfair treatment of each other. Society. This is the society we live in. Can we change it? Yes. Are we changing it? No. So let's all stand up and make a change. We are all humans. We are all of the same kind. We all have beating hearts and emotions. This is the message we are hoping to spread during today's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Al Khalil International Private School is next. Please get ready in 2 minutes.
Yes, miss.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? Hello?
Yes, Lean, I can hear you.
We can hear you.
It's the
Okay.
Ask the Jury,
Awesome.
yes. No, the Ask the Jury, are your voice is approachable or no, or you can start or no?
Yes, we can hear her. Yes, she's fine.
Hi, Miss Emma.
Hi, Lean, how are you?
All right, let's start.
It's good.
Ladies and gents, welcome back to our show. Today's topic is interesting indeed, so you better not snooze off.
You're absolutely right. Today's topic will surely leave you at the edge of your seats. It's true, we say that every time, but only because all of our topics are awesome.
But we'll let you, the audience, judge for yourselves. But we can't just jump straight in, can we? That wouldn't be very host-like of us.
What better way is there to start our presentation other than with the hadith? Our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, Allah is gentle and he loves gentleness, and he rewards for gentleness what is not granted for harshness, and he does not reward anything else like it.
This hadith, like the entirety of Islam, is urging us to be compassionate and tolerant with others, as well as refrain from violence and hatred. So I think we all have to ask, why do we, in the 21st century, a time of innovation and progressiveness, live in a world where we aren't at peace?
You have a point. Humanity has changed quite a bit since its humble beginnings. Perceiving how our mentalities has evolved, do you think with all the furtherance we've accomplished in fields like medicine, machinery, or even astronomy, we'd be able to figure out why we can never get along?
Which actually brings us to our topic for today, world peace, or more specifically, why it just seems so arduous to achieve it.
To initiate our topic, we asked friends, family members, and people with different ethnicities what they think we as a nation should do to accomplish world peace.
عن طريق التسامح والاحترام احترام الغير، احترام خصوصيات الغير، التعامل بمحبة.
I believe it will start from deep ourselves. If we are at peace, then it will be contagious.
بعدم الكراهية والعنصرية والعنف ونستبدلها بإنسان أنفسنا بالمساواة والمحبة والتسامح.
First of all, we need to think about each other. We need to think about the equality between men and women. We need to think about the earth, the global context as well. It's very important that we incorporate all these elements when we're talking about peace.
Global citizenship is an extremely fluid term, making it challenging to define. So what is the meaning of this term, you may ask? Global citizenship is all about empowering youthful individuals to develop the knowledge, aptitudes, and values they ought to engage with the world. As a global citizen, you can contribute to the community if you're most comfortable in home, work, education, health, etc.
But even with new ideologies such as global unity rising, the idea of effacing violence isn't particularly new. Pioneers long before us have built the foundations of what we now know as global citizenship.
Let me point out one of the inspirational figures involved in the American Civil War, Martin Luther King. He once said, "Peace is not merely a distant goal that we seek, but a means by which we arrive at that goal." This speech from his quote, "I Have a Dream," where he urged his people to remain tolerant even when faced with the cruel injustice of their American government.
On the other hand, the UAE, a country that is known for being opposed to war, brutality, and racism, is also known as the world's most generous donor, having provided assistance to more than 175 countries.
Oh yes, I once read that the UAE is currently working with the United Nations to achieve their 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, which were established back in 2017.
Do you guys recall what we heard on the television the other day while flipping through the channels?
Remember that one reporter said that the UAE is extremely supportive of other countries that are in need. After hearing that, along with many other headlines, I realized how much the UAE's aid programs help improve the well-being of countless people, not only physically, but mentally as well.
I'm glad you brought that up. Let me paint you a picture. A small kid with big dreams, aiming for a better future for themselves and for the whole world as well. I probably just described a large chunk of today's children, right? Well, kids might have to realize sooner or later that they're not going anywhere if they're not in the right state of mind.
Wanting and needing are two very similar yet totally different things. While they might want to see themselves with a brighter future, they might need to sort out what holds them back from doing so.
Having a healthy mindset allows everyone, both children and adults, to be able to cope with whatever life throws at them. We have to teach kids how to express themselves freely so they don't burden themselves with emotions that eventually destroy them over time.
If a child is able to pick him or herself up when life gets a little rocky, then and only then can they start working towards their future from that point onward.
Well, seems like all good things come to an end, and our presentation is certainly no exception. A saying that we hear a lot but never implement is, the first step in solving a problem is recognizing that it exists.
Instead of looking the other way, we have to face our problems head on. If not for our sake, then surely for the sake of the generations that will follow us.
All this talking and we barely just scratched the surface. I truly relished sharing several reflections on today's topic. It's actually astounding how people don't have these conversations more frequently, especially considering they're so crucial to humanity.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Next, we will have Dar al Uloom Private School Faraj Hazza. You have 2 minutes to get ready, please.
Will the person who's going to share his or her screen raise your hand, please? So we can make you co-host from Dar Al Uloom.
Yes, Fatma Muhammad. Yes, Fatima, are you ready?
Fatma, please, can you raise your hand? Yes. Okay, she's the co-host now. She can share her screen.
Just 1 minute, miss.
No problem, dear. Take your time.
Yeah, sorry.
Do we have Malak? Yeah, okay.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Fatma.
And I am Rami.
We'll be your presenters for now.
It's our pleasure to welcome you today.
Before we dive into the main picture, why don't we watch a short, quick video with the title, The Tale of Life.
This is where it all begins. You're brought to this world. Your memories are created, memory after a memory. You get older and older, and your destination in life keeps on changing.
You start to experience extraordinary moments and emotions that will always be engraved in your heart. Then suddenly, a new life is about to start. New relationships, a family, new house, and of course, new beginnings. Moving forward in life and striving to achieve our dreams with passion and determination to eventually live a peaceful and satisfying life.
But is this really how life goes?
Let's go back and reveal the whole image.
Stress,
Anxiety,
low self-esteem,
bullying,
depression.
daily struggles.
We go through a lot in life.
What we go through is not the main case. What really matters is how to deal with it.
And going from this concept, allow me to introduce our subject, Principles of Progress. Principles of Progress is an applied future preparation subject that is responsible for preparing students for reality in a practical way. The reason of our existence is to progress and continue in life. We have to keep progressing to guarantee a better and superior future for humanity. We can say that the principles of progress are the building blocks of a functional life.
As Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed, the president of the UAE, said, building the human being is completely different from all the other construction processes because he is the basic pillar of the comprehensive social and economic development process. It's his responsibility to advance the nation's march.
And now, why don't we begin with the main details of our subject?
Next.
First, thanks to the French psychologist Jean Piaget for his cognitive development theory, the subject will be applied from the 7th grade according to the fourth stage, which is formal operational. At the age of 12, the human starts to critically analyze situations, which is perfect for our subject. Well, merci beaucoup, Monsieur Jean Piaget.
Next, the year plan.
As we all know, the year is composed of 3 trimesters. Each trimester will have its own pace, as we are going to show you.
Phase 1, which is home. Students will be practically taught about important inside of the house knowledge and skills.
Phase 2, which is society. Students will be taught how to deal with issues and difficulties around the society and how to interact with people in a proper manner, face-to-face, of course, practically.
And finally, phase 3, worldwide. Students will learn about various kinds of cultures and how to communicate and interact with different perspectives and views.
After the first year, there will be 2 stages applied in the first trimester of each year, which are recap and build.
Recap. Students will revise and apply what they have learned in the previous year.
In build, new skills will be taught after revising the previous ones. Well, this is our principles of progress. Is there something you want to add, Rami?
Yes, I would. I would like to say that I believe school should be about more than just solving numbers and equations and getting A's or B's on tests. Students' life and future shouldn't depend or rely on paper. On a piece of paper, their creativity and intelligence cannot be judged by marks or letters. They must learn how to act and deal with the actual world so they're able to survive on their own. They can't rely on their parents forever because their parents aren't always going to be there. Sure, mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, and all the other subjects are important, but knowing how to find the x or the y, or what the Pythagorean theorem is, or how the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, isn't really going to help them in a time of crisis. That's why the subject should be applied in every school, and it won't be tested on papers. It will be done practically, and students will be taught not only about life outside the schools, but also how to deal or what to do in critical situations. And they will be examined by their actions and responses in those cases, not by just some questions on a paper. And that's all. Thank you.
Well, I 100% agree with you. Does our precious audience agree with us too? Here is another thing that we believe. If your destination is a functional life, your ride is principles of progress. Thank you, and you may ask if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Moving on, we have Al-Andalus Private Academy. Please get ready in 2 minutes.
Noor, she will be the co-host. Noor, would you please raise your hand?
Miss, can you see my screen?
Yes, dear, it is clear.
Good morning. I would like to begin by thanking Leo School and their judging jury for their time and opportunity to be heard. And I would like to welcome you all into our topic for today, philosophy. This is Why Schools Should Teach Philosophy by the Andalus Academy. Let's begin with stating that students spend most of their time at school. It is practically our second home. Students attend school from a very young age in order to gain an education that will eventually lead to a degree in whichever subject or profession they choose. School is a place for not only receiving knowledge, but also building social skills. And you build social skills by socializing with students that come from all around the world, students that have different backgrounds and believe in different morals and values. Schooling plays an important role in the development of personality. As the famous Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Moving on, with that being said, school is a place to grow as people, to grow in general, to develop strong, punctual, and responsible characters. Moreover, building those characteristics requires guidance. And I believe the most effective way to guide these young, impressionable students is by teaching them philosophy. This will not only expand their perspective and give them an insight on many different topics that would later on influence them to be better, stronger, wiser, and more thoughtful members of the community, but it would also teach them how to act in specific situations, as well as preparing them for the outside world as soon as they graduate. And here is my argument for this topic. But before that, I'd like to ask you a question. Who do you think you would have been today had you been guided through philosophy lessons whilst growing up? Would you be the same person you are now, or would you have been a different, better, and stronger person? Thank you.
Benefits of studying philosophy. It is not enough to have a good mind. The main thing is to use it well. This is a quote by a well-known French philosopher named René Descartes. Philosophy lessons give you more than just knowledge of the world. They give you a deep understanding of how the world works, even how it should work. Philosophy is an activity people undertake when they seek to understand themselves, the world they live in, and the relations to each other and the world. Those who study philosophy are engaged in asking, answering, reasoning, and evaluating about some of life's most basic, meaningful, and difficult questions. Philosophy is one of the most practical courses to study. Taking philosophy courses will teach you skills that will not only benefit you in your career, but also in your private life. The study of philosophy will enable you to think carefully, critically, and with clarity, in addition to taking a logical approach to addressing challenging questions and hard matters. It will also teach you how to reason well and evaluate the reasoning of others, discuss sensibly and write effectively, as well as developing good interpretive, argumentative, comparative, and analytical writing skills that will allow you to express your thoughts in a clear and powerful way. Philosophy develops intellectual abilities important for life as a whole. Beyond the knowledge and the skills required for one particular profession, it is a very crucial subject and rather life-changing. Therefore, I believe that it is one of the most important and influential subjects to be taught at schools.
Understanding life. The hardest conception for the brain to conceive is understanding where we are and why we're here. Growing up, only 10% of the people I met cared enough about understanding what life is and why us humans develop and why it's predicted of us to achieve in our lifetime. Next slide, please. As a human with our brain capacities and its function, we cannot achieve and build ourselves and the world around us if we didn't believe that there is a good cause of doing all of that. And this is why I believe philosophy should be taught in school. Philosophy is the fundamental nature of understanding life and existence. Teenagers being taught philosophy will not only enhance their desire and ability to want to build and work more, but will teach them the true meaning of doing all of that is given in life. Because you could never truly create something without understanding the deep nature of where it came from. Our schooling system also creates a false sense of achievement. From our childhood, we go into a yearly progression from one class to another, from elementary to high school and then to college. And all we think about is how we're going to process in life, as in money, families, work, etc. And we get lost in only thinking about the matters that are mandatory to keep us alive. There's a high percentage of teenagers and adults who end their life because they have not found any meaning to it, and their potential goes to waste. What to conclude from everything that I have said is contemplating what an advanced world we would have if every human alive is shown that executing potential into something they love will prompt something powerful into the world. Because as Van Gogh once stated, what is done in love is done well. And to love something, you have to understand it. So to love life, you have to understand that there's a deep nature to everything, and there's something worth fighting for, and that each person today is alive for a reason, to make a change. Thank you.
Now diving into the practical pillar of philosophy, which exposes us to important questions that give us purpose, motivations to find answers. For instance, when Einstein kept asking, what is time? Einstein wanted answers. He wanted validity. He was curious. And I think we all should be curious and out of the ordinary. Now, the study of logic distinguishes good from poor reasoning and therefore enables us to think critically, investigate, and reflect our intellect on issues we face daily. Currently, I've been seeing that people around me are mostly dependent on emotional guidance or even random solutions to their daily problems, and which generally puts them in an infinite loop of more problems. And using logic would have been the best way for them. It unravels the truth and sorts out the different outcomes they may face and the convenience of each, and then they can choose the best solution that suits them. On another view, the logic of philosophy is not only a branch of logic is not only a branch of philosophy, but it's also a branch of mathematics. And here you can see how actually studying philosophy of logic can help us academically. Now, I think everyone in this meeting now knows the understanding of logic, but I don't think everyone knows how to execute logic and apply it in our daily lives. And this is the purpose of learning the philosophy of logic in school. It will help us to learn how to apply and execute the philosophy of logic in our daily life to benefit us, instead of just understanding what is logic. Now, I think most of the teachers in this meeting have gone through so many difficulties and so many barriers when they graduated, because they've been in an environment for more than a decade, and then suddenly their environment changed. And I think every student who graduate have gone through the same experience, and to avoid this, I think logic can help us to avoid this problem, and logic will guide students to make the right decisions and execute their plans successfully, to plan their plans successfully, resulting in sorting their life out. Thank you.
Noor, your mic is muted.
Sorry. Finally, this is why I believe philosophy should be taught in school. It would have a great impact on every student's life. There are no limits in the world. There's nothing stopping us from creating something bigger and better. So, now that you know how philosophy can dramatically influence people in a positive way, do you still think you would have been the same person? This was the Andalus Academy students led by Ms. Zainab. Thank you for your time and the opportunity to educate others. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's move to our 15th team from Leo International School, Faraj Hazza. You have 2 minutes to get ready, please.
So who's gonna share the screen?
I will be sharing my screen.
Okay, Rafia. Will you please raise your hand, Rafia, so our IT support can see you? Can you identify? Okay, Rafia, you're the co-host now. Okay, dear?
Okay, thank you.
نحن نورا، موزة ورفيع. جئنا اليوم لنثبت مقولة أن لا شيء مستحيل. فالمثال الأكبر لهذه المقولة هم أولئك الناس الذين تحدوا الموت، الذين لا يستسلمون ولا يكفون عن المحاولة، لديهم روح العزيمة، القوة، الأمل والإصرار، متمسكين فيها دائما، راضين بما كتبه الله لهم.
يقال كل المشكلات تهون إذا حضرت العافية. يقال أن الإنسان يمتلك الكثير من النعم، لكنها لا تعادل نعمة الصحة. أنور أبو آدم مصاب بالشلل الرعاشي ومرض السكري، يعيش في صراع المرض ليتحدى الموت، حتى وإن كان يعلم أن نسبة عيشه 50%.
قد نتجنب النظر إليهم، قد يؤلمنا اللقاء بهم، قد لا يوجد علاج لمرضهم، قد لا توجد نهاية لمعاناتهم. فهل تتخيل شعورهم وكيف يواجهون الحياة كل يوم، كل ساعة، كل دقيقة؟ مع كل ما يمرون به يبقى في الابتلاء حكمة. ولذا تروث بتشوهات خلقية تعود العوامل الوراثية لا علاج لها، تصاحب المريض طيلة حياته، ورغم الظروف إلا وإنها ما زالت مستمرة تسعى وراء الخير بلا مقابل، فتؤمن بالله وأن هي تلك السعادة بذاتها أن تسعد غيرها فيسعدها الله.
إذا تحدثنا عن الشجاعة، هناك قدوة لنا جميعا، وهو البطل سمو الشيخ زايد بن حمدان الذي شارك في إعادة الأمل إلى اليمن، حيث كان آخر من يغادر كل منطقة مهددة حتى يطمئن على فريقه وأهله، وأول من يبادر في كل مهمة صعبة.
ألهمتنا قصة زايد بن حمدان، فهو مثال عظيم للأمل والإصرار بتحديه المرض بعد إصابته في حادثة تحطيم مروحية إماراتية في اليمن
التي نسمعها كل يوم. اليوم نحن نصل إلى نقطة تتسارع فيها أعداد الوفيات المتعلقة بكورونا.
بين ليلة وضحاها تغيرت كل تفاصيل الحياة. كثيرون لم يتقبلوا الوضع الجديد، لكن لا يمكن تجاهل أننا تعلمنا كثيرا من هذه التجربة، وأصبحنا أكثر قربا من أهالينا. حتى بيئتنا وأرضنا أخذت استراحة من كل نشاطات الإنسان التي تؤثر عليها. سبحان الله، لكل شيء حكمة، ويجب أن ننظر إلى الجانب الإيجابي لأي شيء يمكن أن نتعرض له.
رب ضارة وحدت العالم بمشاعر واحدة وتحديات وأهداف واحدة. رب ضارة أظهرت معادن النفوس وميزتها، وأطلقت العنان للعقول وحفزتها. رب ضارة ذكرتنا بنعم لا تحصى ولا تعد، فرفعنا لشكرها ألف يد. رب ضارة أعادت للحياة معناها، وضبطت للنفوس مغزاها. رب ضارة نافعة.
وفي الختام لديك خيار: يمكنك ارتداء الكمامة وأخذ اللقاح، أو يمكنك تحدي العلم والواقع وتكون مسؤولا عن موتك أو موت شخص في عائلتك أو مجتمعك. وشكرا.
Thank you for your presentation. Last but not least, we will have Al Madar International School. You have 2 minutes to prepare yourselves.
Hello, this is the teacher here. This is Miss Miriam. Is anyone allowed to share the screen, or am I the only one allowed to share the screen?
No. We want a student to share his or her screen, please, if it's possible.
But it says here the host blocked him from sharing the screen.
You know, if you notice, we used to ask the students to raise their hands, so we allow them to raise.
Okay, can you just raise your hand, Kevin?
Yeah, okay.
Right, done. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Kfouri, and today we'll be discussing what we would like to add to a high school curriculum. And I'm here presenting with my colleague, Mariam Bahwan. Today, we're planning to introduce a personal finance class for high schoolers, and our class will mainly focus on taxes, loans, risk and reward, and credit. We believe that this subject will be very useful because it teaches young people how to take better financial decisions. First off, as for taxes, there's a saying by Benjamin Franklin that goes, there are two things in life that are inevitable, death and taxes. We believe that taxes should be taught because any small or minute mistake that could result in while finding a tax form can lead to massive fines or even jail time in some cases. According to the IRS's tax report for tax years 2008 till 2010, about 16% of taxes went unpaid. These funds total a net of $406 billion US. These funds could have went to improve other aspects of life in the US, such as infrastructure, healthcare, or education. Next, we'll be talking about loans. Loans are essential as they fit different needs for different people, and they come in different forms, which include auto loans, personal loans, student loans, mortgages, etc. Loan agreements can sometimes contain nebulous terms that can be used to benefit the lender, i.e. the bank. Example, charging fees without the borrower knowing why or understanding, or even changing the interest rate. Loans are becoming a burden on the youth, and the biggest offender of this is student loans in the US. According to Forbes, student loan debt in 2020 amounted to 1.56 trillion US dollars. Moving on, I'd like to pass the floor to my colleague, Mariam Bahouan.
Thank you, Kevin. So next up, we're gonna talk about risk and reward. Now, this is a really interesting chapter because it will mainly talk about investment opportunities. It will show students how to invest in the right way. It will teach students how to calculate risk and reward by investing. Now, this is a really great skill to have because 20% of small businesses fail their first year and 30% fail in the second year. Also, 50% fail after 5 years. Now, this usually happens because businesses fail to calculate the risk properly. Moving on, we're going to talk about credit. Now, I find this chapter to be really important since over 33% of UAE residents hold 3 or more credit cards. Students will be taught how to deal with credit cards properly and how to apply for a credit card. Thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed the presentation as much as we enjoyed creating it. We hope you all stay safe and have a great day.
All of you presented beautifully. You have impressed us with your amazing performance. So give yourself a round of applause. All the participants and teachers will receive appreciation certificates and the winners will receive medals. The winner of the first place will receive a trophy.
Can you please, can we ask a student from Madar School to stop sharing the screen, please? Thank you. Okay, so will you please, Mr. Hafiz, put our dear jury in the breakout room to discuss the results? And we will be waiting for you. One more thing, dear jury, there was like a kind of confusion regarding time. Maybe it was from our side, maybe from the other school side. So please, like if a school has exceeded the limited time, please don't take this into consideration, this time only. Thank you. I know. Ms. Rima, I don't know if you agree with me, but what I noticed this year that there is an, the level is so high And I noticed a great improvement, like from other schools who participated with us last year, and this year the new schools who have participated, I mean, they raised the bar so high. So proud of every student. We were impressed by every and each student in this competition.
Yes, of course, Ms. Amal, I totally agree. I mean, I never imagined, at least not me personally, that I would one day be sitting behind this small screen and watching all this talent. You know, the outstanding speakers, the outstanding technology skills that the students and even us as staff members, you know, like acquired during the COVID-19 outbreak. Like I was chatting with one of my colleagues earlier today. I told her, you know what, Corona is also a teacher. Despite all the hardship and the restrictions and the precautionary measures dictated by this unfortunate situation, yet we learned a lot as well. Social solidarity is at its best, you know, like our students, you know, are very supportive of each other. The other school communities as well, I assume. Look at us holding this major event virtually. It would never have occurred if it wasn't for the measures dictated by COVID-19. So we should, I guess, a lesson learned is for us to look at the full part of the cup or the glass instead of looking at the empty one. So it was amazing watching all those talented young ladies and gentlemen today delivering with courage and confidence. You know, congratulations to them all, whether or not they were you know, announced as winners, because, you know, by just participating and being that brave and well-spoken, I mean, they are winners. They are definitely winners, and we appreciate their participation. We appreciate the efforts and the cooperation of their teachers, their coaches. This is really a step forward for us as schools, as you know, as the whole schools community, and I know that there will be other similar events coming up. If not this academic year, then you know the coming academic year, and we encourage also our sister schools to come up with such ideas. This is very, very healthy, very encouraging, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rima. I totally agree with you. Now, is there anyone that who wants like to share his or her ideas with us? What do they think about the competition? If they want different competition, well, they'll talk about their experience or anything from other schools.
You know, Ms. Amal, I have a friend who always shares daily quotes with me, like she calls them quote of the day.
Yes.
I would like to share an interesting one that I received from her yesterday, actually. It says, believe in yourself. Believe that you are good enough. Believe in your worthiness. You know, Today, probably technology wasn't at its best for some of our contestants or participants. It's not their fault. Things happen. Sometimes internet isn't as fast or responsive as we want it to be. Sometimes we face technical issues. It's not because we're not good enough. It's these things happen, and this actually should be a motivation. not something to hold us back. You all are not only good enough, you're outstanding for agreeing to be part of this. And for some of you, this is the first time. We don't want it to be the last time. Please, those who write, we want you to keep writing. Those who love public speaking, enhance your skills, and always take part in such challenging activities, okay, regardless of the outcomes of today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Your thoughts and your impressions, whether they're positive or negative, whether you have comments or suggestions or remarks.
Yes, I received something from Mr. Richard, and thank you so much for your valuable input. Also from Alain Jr. And as Ms. Rima mentioned, like being here, it means you are all winners. So this is a great honor for us to have you in this competition, and it's a great opportunity for you. And actually everyone was shining. Honestly speaking, we were impressed by each one of you. Thank you so much. We're still waiting for our jury to come back. Yes, I would like also to welcome our principal, Mr. Larry. Hello, Mr. Larry.
Hello, Ms. Amal, how are you?
I'm fine, how about you?
I am very good. Happy Wednesday, almost Thursday.
Yes.
We're still waiting for the judges to return?
Yes.
Okay.
It was such a great day, Mr. Larry. I was telling our participants and the teachers and the organizers that I never thought that one day I would be sitting behind a small screen and witnessing all this outstanding talent. This is so rewarding, so promising.
Well, I think, and again, and we've, to all the students, number one, someone put in the chat box that they've all won. And I think the fact that they're here, you've all won, regardless what the outcome is. This is, public speaking is probably right up there with one of the scariest things people have to do. Like it's, to be up there, and we aren't all Hollywood actors or Bollywood actors, so to be able to get up there in front of a group, especially at a young age, and speak with confidence is tremendously difficult. And the fact that you've willingly took this task on and have shined with it is a huge credit to everybody who's been part of this competition. This is, like, again, some people never overcome the fear of public speaking, but at your young age, I know you're high school, you probably feel like you're old, but you're relatively young compared to the rest of us. You've accomplished this. This is a skill that will help you for the rest of your life. It's just going to give you the confidence to be able to speak, in front of other people, whether it's job interviews or whether it's, sharing your opinion in larger groups. This is critical. And the fact that you've accomplished this at this age is remarkable. So again, congratulations to all of you at this point.
Thank you so much, Mr. Larry. I think Sharina has prepared something that she wanted to share with us. Yes, Sharina?
Well, actually, it's like before announcing the results, but I can say it now as well. I want to congratulate all of the teams that presented today. You are all amazing with your wonderful and unique presentations and ideas. I hope we all learned something from this opportunity.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yes, it was like a great lesson for everyone. Even guys, we learned from you. We were impressed by the ideas. We were also impressed by the ideas you presented for new subjects that should be taught in high school. And I think this should be taken into consideration. I believe that.
Yes, if there is one thing that we learned from COVID-19, it's that we definitely learn from each other every day. Like, our students are very advanced technologically. We learn from them sometimes, and now that they propose those new courses or subjects to be added to school curricula where there's a high likelihood that the educational authorities might look into these and consider their valid suggestions and proposals. So thank you very much for also teaching us and for being our partners throughout this difficult and challenging situation.
Also, we have, thank you, Ms. Rima. We have our students, Noura and Moza, want to also share their ideas. Yes, go ahead, Noura, please.
So I'm Noura Al-Shamsi, member of the innovation team and part of the student leadership committee in our school, Liwa International School, Village Hazar. I just wanted to say that everyone did an amazing job. I really learned from everyone today. I'm so thankful for such an opportunity. And whether you win or not, everyone is a winner at the end of the day because everyone was amazing and creative in their own way. Thank you to the people who inspire us to do such things, our principals, teachers, classmates, and just everyone over here. Each and every participant, we appreciate you being here with us. Thank you for this amazing achievement, and this really unleashed creativity. This memory will never be forgotten for me.
Exactly. Yes, Moza?
Believe it or not, I'm still struggling to find the right words to properly describe how amazing and fantastic all your presentations were. Thank you so much for delivering such an remarkably outstanding presentations. And as she said, all of you are winners. And thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And hopefully we're going to have this, of course, after Mr. Larry and the SLT's permission, we're going to have it as our annual competition. And inshallah, next year, we're going to take it further and invite all the schools in the UAE, if this is possible, of course.
I think, Ms. Amal, based on the success that's occurred, with this competition and the wonderful opportunities, it's so warming to hear, the last two ladies, their sincere thoughts and appreciation and acknowledgement of this wonderful event. So thank you, ladies, for sharing that with us. But we need to continue this. This is, I keep on telling kids, that young people, not kids, sorry, 20 years from now, you'll remember this. You might necessarily remember other aspects of school. I won't say this to a math teacher, but you might remember your math lesson on a given day. But you will remember this opportunity and this experience. And this is what schools need to help create, are these lasting memories. As well, wonderful opportunities, for growth and skills development, but as well networking with other young people, and experience and their thoughts and hearing what they have to say. So there's no reason why this won't continue. This may continue based on, we're still dealing with COVID. Hopefully it'll be a much different environment next year, but this could be a hybrid activity where, we have a wonderful auditorium, there's an on-site and an off-site presence, that can occur. And as Ms. Amal said, this could be a whole event, a whole UAE event as well, where people maybe aren't necessarily required to travel. Those who can, but those who can't maybe don't have to at this point. The one thing we've learned from COVID is we need to be flexible and adapt to whatever life presents us. And, and I think this is a brilliant example as to how that can occur. The fact that you're able to have this event with 16 schools today, and I believe 16 schools yesterday, this is wonderful. And this shows, the power of us to adapt to our situations and overcome the obstacles and still survive, and enjoy life, which is the biggest challenge right now.
Yes, thank you so much. Ms. Nurhan Ali, can you please say what you have written? And it's really nice. Can you please say it, what you have written in the chat box?
All right. This was an amazing opportunity. I cannot begin to tell you how much I loved being here today and presenting with my friends. It really gave me so much, and I loved our presentation a lot. Lindsay worked really hard on it, and I appreciate it so much.
Yes, thank you so much. It was an outstanding one, actually. For the winners of the first, second, and third place, we are going to deliver the medals to their schools, also the trophy.
Yeah, we're back.
Yes. Ah, you're back, Ms. Laura. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, Mr. Larry, would you like to say anything before they announce the results, or?
Yeah, first of all, you know, it takes many people to make an event such as this successful, you know, and the fact that we're able to have such wonderful judges, you know, the fact Ms. Noura from ADIC, Mr. Sharon, and Dr. Richa from Abu Dhabi University, your presence has given this event validity and value, you know, because to have such esteemed people such as yourselves from your fine institutions judging is just brilliant, and it's gold. So thank you so much, because again, it just makes the event seem to be much more credible, even though it is credible, and much more valid, you know, because now, you know, the students know that the judging has been done by people of you know, who understand education and who come from very esteemed institutions. So thank you very much, you know, for the judges for their participation. As well, you know, I think from LISF, you know, we definitely, a lot of work and effort have gone in to make this event happen. I'd like to personally thank Ms. Amal, Ms. Wajia, and the wonderful IT support staff at LISF, you know, to make this happen in this virtual environment. So thank you, you know, thank you so much for that. And again, before the judges release their, you know, in these events, there has to be, you know, those that are acknowledged as being winners. But again, as we've all shared, you're all successful, you're all winners just for participating in this event. So regardless what happens, you know, with the outcome, thank you everybody for participating. And please, you know, don't be disheartened by the results, because again, you need to look at this as being, you're all winners at this point.
Thank you so much, Mr. Larry. Now, our dear judges, who's going to announce the winners?
I will.
Okay, Mr. Shannon.
But we have several ties.
No
We have a
problem.
couple of ties. Okay, so, and you know, this was so close,
Yeah.
you know, because it's just a matter of like 1 point difference between the leading ones. So for first place,
Can we start with the third place, please?
sorry.
For excitement.
So sorry. Let me just give me 1 second to write this down so we get this.
Yes.
I get it right. Okay, and then
We can imagine how hard it was, because all the students were shining stars, you know, the performances, the creativity, the innovation. It was impressive, honestly speaking.
yeah, and it was interesting having the the discussion among the judges, because we were, we have some slight differences of opinion, and what this organization does, this one. So we discussed all of these in details. So for third place, we have a tie for 3.
Oh, okay. Oh.
This is between Alain Junior's British, Liwa International.
Which one, Falaj Hazza or girls?
Number 15.
International.
International.
Falaj Hazza.
Yeah. And the Learning Place.
Wow. Congratulations.
And believe me, this took some time to come, to decide on these. Okay, second place, Future School.
Wow.
First place, we had a tie between Alain Junior's Indian and Al Khalil.
Wonderful.
Like it was really, really challenging to do this.
Totally understand.
Thank you.
Congratulations, everyone.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Ahmed.
We are so proud of you, of everyone. As we said, everyone is a winner. So thank you so much for being with us today. And
thank you to the students, the teachers, the organizers, Ms. Amal, Ms. Wajiha, all the supportive principals. Thank you, Mr. Shannon. Thank you, Mrs. Noura. Thank you, Dr. Richa, for your cooperation and support. We appreciate your time. You took some time of your busy schedules to be with us today as awesome referees. We really appreciate it. And congratulations, everyone. Thank you.
And as I mentioned, the trophy, actually we have trophies now, Ms. Rima, not only one. The trophies and the medals will be delivered to your school next week, inshallah. When they are ready, we're gonna send them to you. And the certificates will be shared to you by email. So thank you so much, and thank you for being here, and we'll see you, inshallah, in more competitions. Okay, thank you, and congratulations to everybody.
Thank you so much for this wonderful competition. Thank you.
Congratulations, everybody. Everyone did so great. I'm so proud of you all.
Thank you, Serena.
Thank you. Thank you for this amazing opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yes, very well done.
Yeah. We were impressed by the, the stories and